The wind carries a foul smell on its back. It's almost time.
I grew tired of these errands. I was reborn to rule, not to serve.
We all serve a greater purpose. Isn't that what the Lord of Heaven says?
I hate these filthy idiots, but this is his purpose alone. I will not tolerate this for much longer.
And what will you do? You have tried to rebel before, and all you got was a stinking swamp city.
I admire you, my sweet creation, but you should be careful with your words.
You know I only tease, Mother.
The shadows that envelop the Oracle of Khaine's mind vanish from sight. Only the red fiery earth of Akshi remains. She feels enraged by the thought of failure. The Nurgle host is in its sight, and the blood rites have begun. No better way to unleash her frustration than to rip open the back of slimy maggots. On the opposite side, the mighty Garethrax is joined by the great proliferator, Horticulus Slimux. Spraying spores everywhere, they slowly plow the land with slime, followed by a dense cloud of flies.
Look, little snakes. They make lovely maggot fodder and plague bearer cloth. The big one will decorate my waist. They have come to receive the grandfather's blessing. What a beautiful day for a harvest. Spread the gift!
In the name of Khaine, bring me his head!
Keep moving the pawns as I wait, wreathed in shadow.
The battle tactic is against the odds. The Great Unclean One activates heroic leadership. Morathi Khaine activates heroic leadership. Horticulus Slimux activates, cultivating the Garden of Nurgle. The Great Unclean One casts Fleshy Abundance on the Plague Bearers. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield. The Great Unclean One activates at the double on the Plague Bearers. The Nurgling's Deep Strike. The Great Unclean One summons a Sloppity Bile Piper. Nurgle score 5 victory points. The battle tactic is against the odds. Khaine activates Heroic Leadership. The Great Unclean One fails to activate Heroic Leadership. The Death Hag activates Witch Brew on the Shadow Queen. Khaine activates Worship Through Bloodshed on the Stalkers. The Bloodstalkers deal 3 damage to the Nurglings. Khaine casts Mirror Dance. Khaine fails to cast Mindrazor. Khaine fails to cast Black Horror. The Death Hag casts Mystic Shield on the Blood Sisters, but it is unbound. The Death Hag fails to pray for Heart of Fury, taking 1 damage. The Shadow Queen deals 2 damage to the Nurglings. The Stalkers activate all-out attack. The Stalkers finish off the Nurglings. The Blood Sisters activate Forward to Victory. The Plague Drones activate Unleash Hell. The Plague Drones deal 4 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Shadow Queen activates Stomp and deals 1 damage to the Beast. The Blood Sisters activate All-Out Attack and Inspired Triumph. The Blood Sisters finish off the Plague Drones. The Shadow Queen activates All-Out Defense. The Beast deals 1 damage to the Shadow Queen. The Shadow Queen finishes off the Beast. Disease deals 3 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Daughters of Khaine score 5 victory points. The battle tactic is desecrate their lands. Morathi Khaine fails to activate heroic leadership. The Great Unclean One fails to activate heroic leadership. The Death Hag activates Rally on the Blood Sisters, bringing back 1 model. The Death Hag activates Witch Brew on herself. The Death Hag prays for the Heart of Fury. The Death Hag casts Flaming Weapon, but it is unbound. Morathi Khaine casts Mystic Shield on the Blood Sisters. Morathi Khaine casts Mind Razor on the Blood Sisters. Morathi Khaine fails to cast the Withering. The Plague Bearers activate Redeploy. The Shadow Queen finishes off the Bile Piper. The Bloodstalkers deal 1 damage to the Plague Bearers. The Blood Sisters activate Forward to Victory. The Great Unclean One activates Unleash Hell, dealing 3 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Shadow Queen activates Stomp, dealing 1 damage to the Plague Bearers. The Blood Sisters finish off the Beast. The Plague Bearers deal 1 damage to the Shadow Queen. The Blood Sisters deal 27 damage to the Plague Bearers. The Beast deals 3 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Shadow Queen deals 9 damage to the Plague Bearers. Disease deals 2 damage to the Shadow Queen and 5 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Daughters of Khaine score 8 victory points. The battle tactic is Nurture the Gnarlmaw. The Great Unclean One activates Heroic Leadership. The Death Hag activates Heroic Leadership. The Death Hag activates Rally, bringing back 6 Blood Sisters. The Great Unclean One activates Reverberating Summons, generating 1 contagion point. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield. The Great Unclean One casts Arcane Bolt. The Blood Sisters activate redeploy. The Great Unclean One summons the Sloppity Bile Piper. The Great Unclean One deals 3 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Beast deals 1 damage to the Blood Sisters, using the Pestilent Battering Ram. The Great Unclean One activates Mountain of Loathsome Flesh, dealing 2 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Sloppity Bile Piper activates My Love is Like a Ripe Fart. The Beast deals 2 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Blood Sisters deal 2 damage to the Great Unclean One and 5 damage to the Beast. The Beast deals 1 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Blood Sisters deal 5 damage to the Beast. The Great Unclean One activates all-out attack. The Great Unclean One deals 8 damage to the Blood Sisters, which finish off the Beast, using Khaine's Essence ability. The Great Unclean One activates Arcane Bolt, finishing off the Blood Sisters. Disease deals 2 damage to the Blood Sisters. Nurgle score 5 victory points. The battle tactic is an eye for an eye. Morathi Khaine fails heroic leadership. The Great Unclean One activates their finest hour. The Death Hag activates Witch Brew on herself and casts Flaming Weapon. Morathi Khaine casts Mind Razor on the Blood Sisters. Morathi Khaine casts Mystic Shield on the Blood Sisters. Morathi Khaine casts Black Horror, dealing no damage to the Beast. Morathi Khaine activates Worship Through Bloodshed on the Stalkers. The Stalkers deal 6 damage to the Beast. The Great Unclean One activates Redeploy. Horticulus activates all-out defense on the Beast. The Death Hag deals no damage to the Beast. The Bloodstalkers finish off the Plague Bearers. The Shadow Queen finishes off the Beast. The Death Hag deals 1 damage to the Bile Piper using the Bladed Impact ability. The Shadow Queen activates Stomp, dealing 2 damage to the Horticulus. The Heart of Fury activates Locus of the Murder God, rolling a 6. Horticulus activates all-out defense on the beast. The Blood Sisters finish off the beast. The beast deals 5 damage to the Death Hag. The Shadow Queen deals 5 damage to Horticulus. The Sloppity Bile Piper activates all-out attack. The Sloppity Bile Piper deals 4 damage to the Death Hag. The Death Hag deals 2 damage to the Bile Piper and finishes off the beast. Horticulus deals 3 damage to the Shadow Queen. Disease deals 1 damage to the Death Hag and 1 damage to the Blood Sisters. The Daughters of Khaine score 7 victory points. Nurgle concedes.